Buenos días, estimados estudiantes, con el gusto de saludarles. Estamos dando inicio a la quinta unidad, en la cual vamos a ver algunos puntos importantes como es el uso de can, can't, así como el present continuous. Me permito en este momento compartir pantalla de las láminas que ya les compartí la semana pasada. Y pues vamos a dar inicio a los puntos que desarrolla esta quinta unidad, como es Do you have the X factor? Can, can't, present continuous, and present continuous in affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. Okay, at the beginning, we will start working with a modal verb can to express that we don't know how to do something. And at the same time, if you can see, the main function of can is ability to do something, power to do something, and it could be, in this case, a request, but we will see with the next way. For example, Michael Phelps can swim very well. If you can see, in this case, can refers to an action, a possibility. In this case, it's an ability to do something. For example, if you can see, Michael Phelps can swim, puede nadar. This is an ability. Express permission. This is another function of can. We also use can or can't to ask for and give permission. For example, can I go to the bathroom, please? Can I go to the movies? And in this case, if you can see, you are expressing permission to do something. Okay, now we will see the three forms: affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. If you can see, you are going to apply can for all the people. I can, you can, he can, she can, it can, we can, you can, they can. And later you are going to use the simple form of the verb: jump, run, learn, study, write, and so on. There is any change using can. Can is going to be applied for all people, and it's going to be followed for the simple form of the verb. Negative form. Negative form, you can use I can not or I can't. I can't, and you are going to use this form for all the people. I can, you can't, he can't, she can't, it can't, we can't, you can't, they can't. And it's going to be followed for the simple form of the verb. And when we refer to interrogative, and do you want, in this case, if you want to ask a question, you are going to use can. For example, at the beginning, you are going to use modal verb can. Later, you are going to use the personal pronoun. It could be I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they. And it's going to be followed for the simple form of the verb. Can I jump? Can you jump? Can she jump? Can it jump? Can you jump? Can they jump? It's very important to take into account that can is going to be followed for the simple form of the verb in affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. Okay? This is the most important. In conclusion, you are going to use the modal verb can, can't, or can I, or can you, can we, and so on. You are going to use to express at the beginning ability to do something, and second one to express a permission to do something. Okay? Now, let's go to the present continuous. If you remember, some classes ago, we talked about present tense. What is the present tense? When you usually do something as a daily routine. If you remember, For example, I brush my teeth. My mother prepares breakfast. My father works every day. I usually go to school. My brother seldom goes to school, and so on. Now, we will work with present continuous. The present continuous is the action that you are going to do something in this moment, right now. For example, in this kind of tense, you're going to use the time expression as at the moment, now, right now, today. For example, I'm studying English now. If you can see in this sentence, you are, in this case, you are studying in this moment, right now. I'm studying English. I'm doing the action in this moment. Okay, let's continue. To talk about something that is happening at the moment now, for example, I'm paying attention to the teacher. I'm talking to my classmate. Okay, now look at this chart in affirmative, negative, and question form. How am I going to form a present continuous? Present continuous is going to be to be formed for at the beginning personal pronoun, the verb to be, the simple form of the verb, and I'm going to add ing. Look at this one. I am reading, you are reading, we are reading, they are reading. And it's going to be used for only one person. For example, he is reading, she is reading, it is reading. Okay? And then when we finish to use the personal pronoun, the verb to be, I'm going to use the simple form of the verb, read, in which I'm going to add ing. Okay? What about negative form? In negative form, it's very important to take into account that I'm going to use at the beginning personal pronoun, the verb to be in negative form. I'm not, you are not, or you aren't, he is not, or he isn't, or she isn't, they are not, or they aren't, and it's going to be followed for the simple form of the verb, read, run, study, teach, learn, eat, and so on. And you're going to add ing. ing in this case is the gerund, el gerundio, ando, endo, yendo, okay? And let's continue with the question form. The question form, I'm going at the to start working with the verb to be at the beginning of a sentence. For example, am I? Are you? Are we? Are they? Is she? Is it? And it's going to be followed for the simple form of the verb, read, run, drive, eat, I don't know, and ing. Am I reading a book? Is he reading a novel? Are we reading a poem? Are you reading a letter? Are they reading a menu? Okay, this is the most important of present continuous. Okay, look at this chart. It's very important. And look at this one. I am, with the contraction, I'm not, or I am not. In this case, he is, police, Jane is, she is, it is, or he is, Jane's, she is, or it could be he is not, Paul is not, she isn't, it isn't. In the case when I'm talking about two or more people, we are, you are, they are, or we're, they're. In the case, for example, Mark and Sue, Paul and I are not or aren't, okay? And it's going to be followed by the simple form of the verb, for example, play, do, go, swim, run, listen, and eat. But what is going to be happening to take into account that is in present continuous that I'm doing in this moment, the action, I'm going to add ing. For example, playing, doing, going, swimming, running, listening, and eating. Okay, look at this one. There are some exceptions. In the case in getting, you are going to add double consonant. For example, getting with double consonant, sitting with double consonant, skipping with double consonant, and swimming with double consonant, like the orange square. What about in the case that the sentence, in this case the verb ends with, in the case lie, I'm going to put lying is the same thing in the case dying, he is dying. What about in the case of travel or regret? I'm going to write double consonant, traveling, regret. Okay? This is the most important of present continuous. Okay. Now we are going to do a little contrast with present tense and present continuous. For example, look at this one. This is very important. Look at this one. Do I build house? Do you build house? Does she build houses? Do we build houses? Do they build houses? Okay. If you remember, I don't remember, 2 or 1 class ago, I talked about that if I'm going to ask a question, I'm going to use the auxiliary do and does. And later, personal pronoun, the simple form of the verb, the complement, and don't forget to put the question mark, the question mark. Okay, what about the present continuous? The present continuous, don't forget the action is doing in this moment, right now. Look at this one. Am I building a house? Are you building a house? Is she building a house? Are we building a house? Are they building a house? Okay. This is the most important of this unit, the unit 5. Now we go with the textbook. It's very important to check something about the textbook. If you can see, says, are you the next American Idol? Okay, we are going to look at this one. What are we going to look at in this exercise, in this reading? The most important is the use of can, can't, and at the same time, the use of the present continuous. Look at this one. For example, at 7:30 a.m., I arrive in San Diego and ride to the Petco Park. The traffic is terrible. I'm late. And the guard say, hey, you can't park here. You can't. Look at this one. You can't park here. If you can see in this sentence, the most important is that you don't have any kind of permission to park there. Why? In this case, Gary asks the question, where can I park? And the guard says, in the parking lot over there. Okay, where's the main entrance? The entrance? It's on the other street, thanks. Okay. In this short conversation, you could see the main function of can't, that there is any kind of permission to park in the park. Okay. And what about the 12:45? I wait for my audition with 350 other seniors. I'm very nervous. What about 6 p.m.? Look at this one. Okay, sorry. The organizer says you can practice your songs here, and you're going. In this case, you are going to fill in the blanks. Okay, for example, you can practice your song here, and continue or can practice in this case. What about at 6 p.m., 5 hours later, finally a woman calls my number. Okay, in this case, it's going to say, Pedro, it's your turn now. Okay, for example. And then at 6:15, I walk onto the stage. I can see a table and three judges. Okay, this is, he is thinking, oh, it's terrible. Why? Because there are people that are going to evaluate the process. Okay, this is the use of can. The can, this is the ability, and at the same time is the permission, the permit to express permission. Okay, now look at this one, the exercise one. Can you remember the verse for things people do in the free time? For example, in the number one says, do homework, I listen to music, watch TV, play the guitar, go to the gym, and have a coffee. Okay, look at this one, can and can't. Obviously, there is the reading that I have read in this moment, and says you are going to complete the dialogue. Can you come with me, please? I can remember the words. You can have coffee and so on. Okay, wait a moment, please. Okay, let's continue with the next. It's very important. I'm going to share the audios. In this case, I'm going to share the audio 2.57, in which listen to the judges. What do they say about each singer? How does Gary feel? Look at four sentences with can or can't. Match the sentences. This is going to be a task that you are going to develop at home. In a few minutes, I'm going to share the audio 2.57, okay? Now, let's go to with some exercises as American Idol. Is going to be the same thing. You are going to read a little bit. You are going to read a little bit about American Idol winners. Where are they now? For example, Andy Warhol says, in the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. And then it's very important that you try to read Kelly Clarkson, Ruben Studdard, and Carrie Underwood, and at the same time, Lee Duisy. Okay, and then I'm going to share the same thing, the audio 2.59 and 260. And according to this one, you are going to decide the best option. Now, let's go to the present continuous. Refer to the present continuous. I would like to do this kind of exercise tomorrow because this exercise is very, very, very interesting and very very exciting to do in class, but trying to participate at the same time in this kinds of exercise. Why? Because you are going to get the opportunity, you are going to get the chance to interchange, and at the same time, you are going to get the opportunity to speak a little bit in English. And then today I'm going to share this video, and tomorrow I'll see you about at 11 o'clock and we go, or if you prefer, I would like to share a video, and it's very, very important to see you next week. Esta parte, chicos, es de suma importancia los que les quiero comentar. A lo largo de estas 2 semanas que hemos estado viendo las unidades así a grandes rasgos, estuve hablando con la doctora Liliana y la doctora Liliana me pidió de favor, ¿verdad? Que pudiéramos estar por lo menos 1 hora o si quieren 2 horas, un día nada más, ya sea el lunes, y me gustaría mucho que tuviéramos la oportunidad de poder hacer una recapitulación de las 6 unidades en forma presencial, proyectándoselas aquí en el autoacceso, y yo creo que va a ser una actividad interesante. Yo se los dejo para que lo piensen, y de cualquier forma, pues el día de mañana nos vemos, y si tengo la oportunidad, pues les grabo la clase nuevamente, pero sí consideren para el próximo lunes podernos ver aquí en la unidad a las 10 de la mañana. No les voy a quitar mucho tiempo y haríamos una recapitulación de las 6 unidades. Yo les compartiría el material en forma física, y estaríamos dando ese tallercito aquí en el autoacceso. Pues les agradezco mucho y nos vemos el día de mañana.